Arthur, may I just start by asking you one question which suddenly to me, at my stage in my life, has become important. Where do you buy the mask which makes you look so young and hide your real age?
See, I've lived a decent life. I'm not like you know, coming all this way from Devizes to Salisbury. No, it's just the luck of the game. Everybody says that. People come up to me and they say, "You never change," and I say, "No, I use the same old gags every year." No, we mean you look just the same. I say, "Well, I looked an old man when I was young." That's the answer. It's as simple as that.
It's incredible. You're in your 70s. And
oh yeah, I'm 76 next month.
You don't really look a day over 50.
There, your eyes are going, and I'm wearing the glasses.
Anyway, Arthur, you stand up to time very, very well.
Well, I keep going. I think that, you see, my theory is I'd sooner wear out than rust out, which is the answer. I couldn't retire. You see, I had a bad accident at the Palladium 5-6 years ago. I fell through the trap door, smashed all my ribs and had a heart attack. And I could have sued them and picked up a lot of money, and because it was their fault. I could have sued them. My solicitor said, "Sue them and you needn't work again for the rest of your life." So I said, "Well, let me think this over," because I was lying in bed for 2 months. And I thought, well, what the hell will I do with myself? I'll join the library, take the dog for a walk. Because he said to me, "You'll never work, you must never work again, otherwise they want the money back. Because we can get you a sum of money because we'll say that you can't work, you're incapable of working again." Anyway, I analysed it, I thought about it, and no, I thought, well, I'll take a chance and go back and see if I can still do it, because having had a heart condition, I wasn't sure I could still skip round and sing the bee and do what I still do it now.
Yes, I know.
And it's worked out all right. Unlike a lot of people in the country these days, I'm not afraid of work. Although they don't think ours is work, you see.
No, this is...
It is a fact. They think this is a great lark. This is one of the hardest businesses of the lot. And to sustain in it, I've been in it now, this is my 52nd year in it, and I'm still in the market, which is marvellous. I look over my shoulder to see people I used to be with, them all gone. And the nearest is Ted Ray, I suppose, and Tommy Trinder. But they're both younger than me. Anyway, I keep ploughing along.
Ted's holding about with a
yes, I was talking to him today. We were on Does the Team Think yesterday, the radio, you know.
Yes.
And he was on Pete Murray this morning, and he said one or two nice things about me. So I gave him a ring this afternoon because I'm on Pete Murray week after next.
Oh, yeah.
And well, I want to plug a new LP I've made.
Really?
With all the old rubbish on, you know, the bee and the moth and the seagull, and it's the third time I've made an LP. But they want me to do the same songs all the time. Strangely enough, I get so many requests from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Where can we get you? And they gradually go out of print, you see. And so I've re-recorded them all again.
Is this Max Weinberg spreading the good word abroad?
It must be, oh dear old Max, yes. I'm going to the launching of his book at Foyle's Luncheon in a fortnight's time, Max. I was invited to the actual launching, but I was busy as usual, couldn't go. He's an old mate of mine.
How did you first come into show business?
How did I?
Yeah.
I was a late starter. I worked in an office for 8 years after I left school, and I was an amateur, you know, doing all the church. It was chiefly church concerts, pensioners' concerts, anywhere who'd let me work. It was as simple as that. Stage struck. And the fellow saw me working at one of these concerts. And he said, he wrote to me and he said, "Have you ever thought of going professional?" And I said, "Well, I've thought about it, but you know, I've never done anything about it." He said, "Well, if ever you want to go, I can put you in touch with a concert party who are looking for a comedian, and they'll take you on my recommendation." So I thought it over and spoke to my family. My father said, "Oh, you fool, you've got a job with a pension, you know nothing about it." The only person I knew in the business then was Tommy Hanley, who was then in the chorus of a show called Made of the Mountains, because we were choir boys together, Tommy and I. Not at the same church, but in Liverpool. Anyway, after a lot of thought, my mother was always a bit stage struck. "Yeah, go on, Chauncey." She thought I was funny. So I left. I gave up a job at £2.10 a week, and took one at £6.10 a week, and that was my start.
And when did the name Big Hearted Arthur?
Oh, that was chiefly 1938, 1939, bandwagon. My impact was with radio, which I still love radio, and I became a national name, and the world was my oyster. Then the war came, bang! I thought, oh, I've worked like hell for 15 years. I've been at it then, just become recognised, and the war broke out. But fortunately, I survived it in every way. As a matter of fact, I was in France with Gracie Fields in 1940, and what they call the phony war period, and on the German breakthrough, we just got out in time, Gracie and I. You ought to read my book. That's right. Tell them at the hospitals. I've got a card here that says, oh, there's 4 hospitals.
Yes.
Well, I'll never be in the maternity, that's for certain. There's the Devizes and District. Hello, playmates, how are you? I'm putting all your names, calling you now. Maternity Hospital, Devizes and District, the Round Way, and then there's the St James's.
That's right.
And I know who you've got there. You've got Miss Ivy Chapman, haven't you?
Beautiful Ivy.
How are you, Ivy? Nice. They've told me all about you. I hope you can hear me. I'm talking loud, and it's nice to be able to say hello to you all, whichever hospital you're in, especially the girls in the maternity hospital.
You just said 2 magic words, hello playmates.
Mm-hmm.
When did they first come up?
It's a long story. It's all in the book. You must get my book. It says, when I started Bandwagon, hitherto my introduction when I walked on the stage would say, hello folks. Well, now Tommy Hanley was a very established radio comedian in 1938. He was the kingpin. But the press, when they started Bandwagon, rather went for me, you see. They thought I was the new genius. And so I used to go and say, hello folks, and Tommy Hanley, who was an old mate of mine, wrote me a letter. He was always a bit jealous of me. I rest his soul, but he was. And he said to me, I say hello folks, that's really mine. I thought, oh well, what can I do? I can't say hello ladies and gentlemen, or too polite. And I just coined playmates, and it stuck with me. I mean, I walk down the street now, people always say, hello playmates, even little kids. Tiny kids will do it now.
This book you keep mentioning, what is this book?
It's my life story, written by myself in longhand, 90,000 words, well, most biographies are ghosted, you know. Other people write them. But I was determined, if anyone wanted to read about it, and it was a bestseller. Went right to the top in the Sunday Times. It's called, guess what? Before Your Very Eyes. And people who read it said it's very good. And as I say, it's sold very well indeed. I'm pleased to say.
Everybody going to the library.
Oh, I'll say it. If they care to hang on a little longer, it's coming out in paperback.
In paperback?
Yeah.
Roughly when?
I should think within the next 6 months, after my long-playing record.
Yes. Now, what's the record going to be called?
The record will be, it's called, I think they're calling that Before Your Very Eyes.
Are they?
Which is a funny title for the record, but they said, oh, well, if anyone says Before Your Very Eyes, they immediately know you're talking about.
True.
Like, I thank you, hello, playmates. I've got thousands of catchphrases.
Now, you're not a singer as such, but you've had a lot of success with the songs which you've recorded.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, you're basically and essentially a comedian.
Yeah. But I was a choir boy, as I told you, as a kid. In fact, I sang the solo in Liverpool Cathedral Choir, the new cathedral that is not yet completed. The first part of it that was consecrated in 1911, they formed a choir for the consecration with the head choir boy of all the parish churches in and around Liverpool, and I went from my church, which was called St Michael's in the Hamlet, as I was the boy soprano there, and they auditioned us for this consecration and chose me to sing the solo. So that was my first command performance.
Quite an honour.
Well, they had the Archbishop of Canterbury there and the Archbishop of York, and I've done 9 command performances at the London Palladium, but that one to me was that gave us my biggest thrill.
Because you've had a lot of thrills over the years.
Oh yes.
Between radio and television and
films and musical comedy. There's no branch of the business I haven't touched, except ballet, and I've done Cod Valley.
Yes, of
usually
course.
a bit on a wire, and Shakespeare. But I did a musical comedy once called The Kid from Stratford, where I had to learn quite a bit of Shakespeare, and found it damn difficult to learn, I'll tell you that. Because they've several times tried to get me to do Shakespeare, play bottom, like George Roby, like Frankie Howard. But I said, no, it's... I said, what's the money? I'm very commercial, you see. I'm in show business to earn my living. They said, oh, it's prestige. I said, to hell with prestige, what's the money? And they told me, I said, oh no, I can do better than that doing the clubs.
Is there any particular aspect of show business, you know, be it radio or television, which appeals to you more than anything else?
The easiest is filming. Quite the easiest. That's why you get some nits who are film stars, because if they go wrong, they can take it again and again. They only give them about 4 lines to say it, and that is the simplest. You have to hang about a lot. I made 12 top films, feature films, and that is the easiest.
But not the most rewarding.
Not the most. Oh, it was very good film. Yeah. I'd have settled for making filming the rest of my career, but it didn't work out that way.
You surprised me. I would have thought you'd have gone for radio or cabaret work where you...
No. Cabaret work I do, radio work I do, television I do, but put me in front of an audience that has paid to come and see me in a theatre, preferably the London Palladium or the Bristol Hippodrome or the Palace Manchester, a real theatre with a good orchestra, good lighting, an audience that's done you the compliment of paying to come and see you. And that's what I came in the business to do, to go on the stage, not to go on radio, not to go on telly, not to go on films, on the stage. And that to me, I'm breathing then, you know what I mean? It does something to you. You can feel lousy. As you do some nights, you don't feel quite up to it. You might have a bit of a cold or a bit of an ache or some domestic trouble, or not that I have that. But once you put your foot on the stage, it works wonders. Absolutely marvellous.
Because you go back now to the old days of the music hall. Do you miss...
Yeah, but I would have never have been a real music hall comic. I went on music halls and starred all over the country. I was starting at the Palladium when the war broke out, 1939. But it was because I was well known on radio, and they accepted anything from me. But I wasn't broad enough really for music hall. No, my favourite was musical comedy.
Really?
I love musical comedy, or pantomime, which I do every year, or summer season, which I do every year. Last Christmas I was at Bristol Hippodrome.
That's right.
Broke all records. This summer I'm going to Clacton, and next Christmas I go to Manchester. Pantomime.
You obviously enjoy pantomime.
Yes.
Your enjoyment comes across.
Oh, it does. You really get such a family audience there. It's marvellous. You see, again, I don't know what's gone wrong with the idiots who run our business now. Oh, I'm not afraid because they can't touch me. No, last year they ran a pantomime in the West End, and who did they put in pantomime? They put Twiggy, Steptoe and Son, and people who know nothing about pantomime, but they're well known on the telly or something.
Yes. And
And it was a disaster. Now this year, they announced yesterday what's at the Palladium this year. Richard O'Sullivan, very good on television. Eutha Joyce and the other fellow who plays her husband, playing the Ugly Sisters. Oh, beautiful, yeah. Derek Geiler is playing the Baron. None of them know anything about... It's like putting an opera singer into drama, or a drama into... You see, pantomime is a craft. You've got to be broad in pantomime, and you've got to know it. So I'll forecast here and now, before your very eyes, the Palladium will be a flop this year.
Is there anything left in show business that you would like to do that you haven't done?
Oh, I think I've done a lot now.
Would you like to master Shakespeare? Would you like to play...
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I love to see it, strangely enough. I love to see it because I sit and I love watching other performers in every branch of the business, and I love to see it, and I've such an admiration for Shakespeare, the stuff he wrote all those years and years ago.
Or Bacon, whoever it was.
Oh, whoever, yes. That's right. But he was a fantastic writer, the greatest of all time, probably.
There is one thing, Arthur, which perhaps you might like to explain for us, clarify. You belong to the Grand Order of Water Rats.
No, I don't. There will now be 2 minutes silence.
A pregnant pause.
No, yeah, pregnant pause. Well, but back to the maternity ward. No, I never joined them. I'm a non-theatrical. I don't belong to the Variety Club, the Water Rats, or anything. For years, I did my job. I clocked on, like you do at a factory, do my job, clock off, and went home. I never went to parties, first nights, anything. Sounds very dull, but it's paid off in the long run.
Well, you've reached this stage in your life and looking at help.
Yeah, keep going.
I've dropped a major clanger there, haven't I?
Yeah, what, a water rat? No, I'm not a water. Never. They tried to get me to join, but I wouldn't. Well, if you're working with people, if you, like, I don't know what your private job is.
RAF.
RAF, oh well. If you can get away from it, if you're there 5-6 nights a week, or days a week, if you can get a break from it, you do. Why? Water rats meet on a Sunday. So you're working with pros all the week. Come Sunday, I'd like to see my daughter, my grandchildren. You know, get with the family. I don't want to go and sit with a lot of pros again. That's why I never joined. Same with the Variety Club.
So, just to get back quickly to your LP again, what's on the LP for people to listen out for?
Well, it's got all
the ones they know.
Yes. You see, during the years, I must have made 150 records, because I was under contract to HMV for a long time. But the old faithfuls keep coming up, as I say. The bee, the moth, the seagull, chirrup, chirrup, the worm, knitting, all the things that are associated with me. And if you don't do them, people won't buy it, because they expect you to do it. I put in at least 3 I've never recorded before on this new one, just to break it up, because there's about 14 titles on it.
Do you ever update your songs? You know,
never. No, leave them alone. No.
There's nothing.
By that you mean I don't broaden them in any way?
No, I mean there's nothing around nowadays that you might slip into, right? I don't mean a contemporary song as such, but say something that perhaps Michael Flanders and Donald Swan had written. You know, like "I'm a Canoe."
Oh yeah, yes.
Song.
Well, if I sang it, they'd say, "Oh, he sang that for years." Because any song that come like "Mud, Mud, Glorious Mud," they all said, "Oh, we heard your song there." I never sang it in my life. Or "I'm a lonely little petunia in an onion patch." They say, "Oh, that's one of yours." It isn't. I never sang it, but they sound like mine. Because I do that type. You see, if you take my songs like "The Bee" and "The Moth," "Seagull," as I say, they're basically very Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yes.
They've got a quality, and now instead of going as they will these days, everybody sings "I did it my way." They can't sing to start with, and it's not their song; it's Frank Sinatra's. But I feel I've got something personal in my own little songs.
Well, you've given a lot of pleasure over the years. Final bit of pleasure. I've got a message for the.
Well, to the patients in the hospital. Well, God love you all, and I do hope that you, whatever you've got, dear people, I hope you soon get over it, because, as I say, I had a little touch of it. I've been very lucky. God's been very good to me. My health's been good, and apart from that accident at the Palladium, when I was 2 months in St George's, I had time to think then and sit and think, what a lucky devil I've been. Everything's gone my way. I've looked after myself, but there basically I've got everything. So, and I know how boring it can be lying in bed. And so to you all, I do hope that you'll all be soon out and with your loved ones again, out and about. And in the meantime, this is your old playmate Arthur Askey saying, "Nah, Daniel, a lot of rubbish I've talked tonight. I've got to go on and work now." And I hope I'll have the opportunity of talking to you all again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Arthur.